What's up? Welcome to No Tracers. Let's get into an episode. Step into the world of decay, abandonment, and chaos. The story of an urban explorer starts here, at the beginning. Welcome to the podcast you've been looking for all along. This is No Tracers. Here, we take only photos. We leave only footprints. And remember, leave no trace. So this week on the No Tracers podcast, I am chatting with Bentleyshotz, a St. Louis-based urban explorer who I actually tried to meet up with recently, but he was out of town, which sucks because I was on tour with a band called the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. I filmed content for them on the road. And I try to meet up with explorers while I'm on tour because I have toured for the past 7 months of this year. And it's been a little difficult to keep up with episodes, but I'm doing my best here. And I think I've been doing a pretty good job of getting these to you guys every Friday. I have missed a week or two here and there, but other than that, I've been trying to bank episodes while I'm at home, or I bring my gear with me while I'm on the road and can record in a hotel room, which is a little difficult when you share a room with other people. But, I'm doing my best here, guys. So thank you for your patience, understanding, and for listening to the show. We're about to hit 20,000 downloads, so thank you guys so much for that. It means the world to me. If you're new to the show, hit the subscribe button. And if you've listened to the show for a little while and you know what you like about the show, please leave a rating and feedback, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Spotify just added the ability for you to actually add a rating and feedback, so that will help the podcast find other listeners just like you. Before we get into the show, a couple things. I have a couple photography books out and new merch coming out in October. You can go to notracers.com/shop, check out the merchandise, and pick up a book. Lastly, I need to thank the partner on this podcast, Liquid Death Mountain Water. If you're looking for a better alternative to plastic bottles, Liquid Death Mountain Water comes in rugged aluminum cans. Yeah, rugged. I used an adjective, okay? Rugged aluminum cans. They have 3 flavors to choose from: mango chainsaw, severed lime, and bury it alive. If you guys want 10% off your order at liquiddeath.com, use code JUSTTHELETTERK to get 3,000 cases of water if you want. I don't know how much water you drink, but you need more. So go to liquiddeath.com and use code JUSTTHELETTERK for 10% off. All right, without further ado, Bentley, please introduce yourself and how long you've been exploring to the No Tracers audience.
All right, hey, I'm Bentleyshotz, and I'm exploring my whole life, but as far as abandoned buildings, just a little over a year now.
Oh, well, welcome to the community. Stoked to have you. Take me into your first exploration ever. What did you explore? What kind of building was it?
So my first exploration, there'd probably be a couple within the same week in St. Louis. One, I honestly don't even know what the buildings were. They're just kind of random buildings. There's a lot of those scattered around the city, and I just went in and started exploring.
Gotcha. And you just caught the bug, huh?
Yeah, it's an addiction.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
how soon after you started did you start taking photos and picking up photography?
So I was a photographer prior to exploring abandoned buildings, so immediately was taking pictures.
Love that. Love that. So do you have any gear recommendations for people that are just getting into the hobby? What kind of stuff do you bring into the buildings? What kind of shoes are you wearing? Backpack, lights, anything like that?
Yeah, I always have a backpack with me, same old backpack, and I bring my camera gear. I have a little camera bag with my camera, a few different lenses to swap out, flashlight, and sometimes a tripod. Usually don't like carrying it around, but I'll bring it around sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you need it, especially if it's a darker building. Do you have any urban exploration injury stories?
Injuries, not so much. A couple scratches here and there. One time I was in this underground tunnel below this abandoned brewery, and it was just dark, and there was like these weird things in there, metal bars, and I like smacked my head on it one time. It was kind of like right after I got a concussion, like skateboarding. So
Oh,
yeah, I was a little fuzzy afterwards, but it wasn't nothing too serious.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
What about your scariest exploration?
Scariest. As far as like paranormal or like kind of hot, like what exactly you mean?
Both or all of the above, basically. Like
Okay.
some explorers don't believe in paranormal stuff, some people do, so it's like I kind of leave it like open-ended like that, but like
Yeah.
share some scary stories with me.
Okay. I'll take a stab at the paranormal one.
Let's go.
So like randomly, I was with my mom on an explore. She's cool like that.
Sick.
but yeah, we went in this abandoned asylum, and it's got a dark past. Like you can read up on the history. It's a well-known spot. And I went in with my mom. She took a step in the door and was like, "Nah, I'm good." But I explored the whole thing by myself, basement, attic, everything. And I was getting in the stairwell at one point, and the door legit slammed in my face. And I actually
Wow.
tried to like hold the door like from slamming, and it just kept pushing shut. And I was like,
Dude.
"Oh fuck." Yeah, it was pretty
That's nuts.
sketch. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's probably my only like really paranormal experience outside of like just getting like eerie, dark feelings in some
Mm.
of the places. But some other scary explorers would probably be getting chased by security.
Yep.
So yeah, this story was already talked about on here by one of my friends, Skater Bait out there.
Yep.
We were in the building with a few people, and security came in and was like, "What are y'all doing in here?" And we just bolted, and it was like he said, like it was just hard getting out because we were just running into dead ends, and the floor was all slick and whatnot. I actually slipped while running, got up and kept running, and then our other friend dropped their phone. I picked it up and gave it to him, but we were just trying to make our way out, and it was pretty sketch at the time.
Dang. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
such a great story. Like, oh my God, what a crazy experience you guys had in there. Nuts.
Yeah,
I
that
hate
was
having to
wild.
run, dude. I hate it. My homie punked us, like pranked us in an abandoned spot
Oh,
once. He does like the police siren, the boo, you know what I'm talking about? Like he
no.
can make the sound perfectly with his mouth, and like he did it, and we literally bolted out of the building, and the other people that were like kind of chilling in there exploring also were like, "Did you guys hear that? We gotta go." So we like all run out of this building, and then he like 10 minutes later he shows up at my car and he's like, where'd everybody go? We're like, what are you talking about?
No.
And he's like, oh yeah, it was me. Like I'm just fucking around. I
Oh,
hate
that's
that.
not cool.
Not cool, man. Not a cool time.
Yeah, that'll get
What
me.
about your most dangerous exploration story?
Dangerous. Probably. I mean, just all the buildings where the floor is just like you can visibly see there's holes in it, or you can feel it kind of. I mean, I've had my foot go through one time, but that was like on like the bottom floor, so I just like picked up real quick. Uh, Probably the dangerous would just be like some of the climbs. Like I climbed a crane one time, and that was pretty nuts.
I noticed you said one time. Does that mean
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
you're like
like
never again?
it was definitely bucket list.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. I kind of just sent it. I would probably do it again under the right circumstances. It's definitely like a
Yeah.
little hot boy type of deal. But yeah, you just gotta play it cool, I guess.
Yeah, I've also done one crane, and I was like, I had permission to climb the crane, and I was still freaking out the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't really like do cranes. Like I totally do one. Like, if James Kingston or Nightscape was like, let's go climb this crane, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's climb the crane. But like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's sketchy.
Yeah, it's sketchy because like if you got caught, you'd be fucked. Like
You'd be so fucked.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, what do you do when you're not exploring abandoned buildings?
Not exploring. I work a basic 9 to 5, so like
Gotcha.
that boring, office job. But
Heard.
outside of that, I'm just like trying to live life to the full, exploring, traveling, taking photos, whatever I can.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
just love to
prefer?
travel.
Yeah, dude. Do you prefer exploring with people or alone?
Um, so a mixture of both. It's fun exploring with like a friend group. You get out there, it's fun, and then at the same time, I do enjoy exploring by myself sometimes, just because I can move at my own pace and not have to worry about anybody else, and get the shots I want, and then just get in and out. So a little of both.
Got you. Do you have any bucket list places, like goal places you're trying to visit?
Bucket list. Yeah, there's a lot like kind of locally. I'm in St. Louis, so around that
Hmm.
area in Chicago. Bigger spots, Six Flags. That's a lot for
Yep.
it's on a lot of people's list. I don't know how long it's gonna be there. Um,
Right.
uh, yeah. Outside of that, just traveling to other states to see what they have to offer.
Yeah. And what's the farthest you've traveled to go exploring?
Farthest I've traveled, like on the weekend, I'll drive like 8 hours just to like see one spot and then hopefully see some other things along the way. um, so yeah, probably like 8 hours, like driving
Got you. Yeah, I love
for the
that.
most.
I love that you do stuff on the weekend. I feel like that's like your time because you do have like that 9 to 5. So I feel like you maximize your time on the weekends, probably, huh?
Yeah, I don't sleep a whole lot on the weekends. Yeah.
Oh fuck. If you could live in one place you've explored for an entire week, which place would it be?
So I was thinking about this one. There's a few abandoned hotels which would, obviously be like kosher, like people are meant to stay there. But I think it'd be kind of cool, like some of the abandoned prisons, like sleeping
Mm.
in like a cell, just to like get that feeling, like what it was like for some people, like trapped
Yeah,
in this small little space. Like that
absolutely.
must suck. That must suck. Like I've been to a few abandoned prisons and like I can't even imagine.
Yeah, man. I remember walking into like a solitary confinement cell once and I was like, this is not it. This is not, no way. Can't believe people live like
Yeah,
that for years, man, for decades. It's crazy to like be in there for 2 minutes and just be like, nope, this is not for me. I'm not doing this
it,
for real ever.
exactly. And like some of them have like dark pasts, like that
Mm.
closed a while ago. Like I know that like some they would keep people like in the basement or like solitary confinement, and there'd be like no light, so like
Yeah.
people would go blind. Like
Yeah.
that's messed up.
Right.
I
Yeah,
can't imagine.
your eyes just stop working cuz they don't need to anymore. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's nuts. That reminds me of like people in the catacombs under Paris. Like I'm sure some of them have been down there so long that their eyes just are crazy sensitive to light.
Yeah, I've heard about those. I don't really know too much about the history though. Like I don't really know what happened there.
Yeah, so definitely look into the catacombs. It's a fascinating history. It's like 6 million dead bodies
Ooh,
underneath Paris, basically. And there are
jeez.
people that live down there. They're called cataphiles. And they like
Mm.
spend every day, all day, every day underground. Like it's nuts. They've built their own little community down there. But definitely look into it. It's fascinating. And then what do you hope for the future of urban exploring?
Um, that's a good question. I'd say like it's hard to find a balance between like friendliness and obviously keeping spots secure. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess finding a better like line between those borders, just because like I get like being exclusive and whatnot, but at the same time like we're all in this together. Like you know, you gotta be careful obviously with sharing spots. People you trust.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, I enjoy it. I love it. I love the community. Um, I know lately everybody's been talking about it, like bring the old Instagram back. I kind of wish it would go back to that too,
Yeah,
like
dude.
the photos.
Just talked about that on the last episode of Instagram and how it's changed and how we wish there was something else that was just photo based, and how there was like one app out there that, was photo based, but it launched in beta testing and it like it went viral. Like people started talking about it, everybody joined, and then it crashed. So people were like, this app isn't ready for us. So they kind of just bailed on it. It sucks.
Damn, it's abandoned.
It's abandoned. It's an abandoned app. We should go take it over and just for urban exploring content. Shit. Okay, look, I'm gonna put that app down in the description of this episode. Let's go take that shit over. Come on now.
Let's go.
Let's go. Shit. All right. So, what is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started exploring?
Definitely like the guiding rules behind like the community, like because there's fundamental things you have to do to obviously keep spots secure, not get injured, be safe. So I'm glad I know the things I do now. But can you repeat that question one more time?
Yeah, what is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started exploring?
That's a tough one. I definitely wish I got into it earlier in life, because like a lot of spots are gone now.
Yeah.
Like I was in Philly recently, and like some of those power plants are either being like renovated or just completely locked down. Like same with a lot of spots, they're just like gone. Like you can't explore them anymore. Like they were either demolished or, rehabilitated or just completely sealed off, and it's not really doable anymore. So I kind of just wish I got into it earlier in life.
For sure. I get that. Yeah, I mean, same for me, I grew up overseas, and I wish I had been into urban exploring then so that I could have explored more abandoned places overseas, because I had the opportunity, I just didn't know about it,
You were there.
I was there, dude. I went to Italy. I fucking went to like Thailand. Like I went to all these places and just had no idea it was even a thing.
Exactly. It's kind of like an underground thing, Like people don't know about it.
Exactly. So if people want to keep following you on your journey, drop your social media for them. Where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm mainly just on Instagram at Bentleyshotz, and that's with a Z at the end. It'll probably change again at some point. I just can't really come up with anything better at the moment.
I love it, dude. Don't change it.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I try to make a TikTok just to like share little videos to try to point people to my Instagram, but
gotcha.
I'm mainly just on Instagram.
Dope. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time to share some stories and some experiences on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great talking to you. I love your podcast. I love your feed and everything. Love what you're doing.
Yo, that was my episode with Bentleyshotz. If you want to check out his stuff, what he does around St. Louis or around, an 8-hour radius of St. Louis, go check his stuff out at Bentleyshotz with a Z on Instagram. His link's down in the description for you guys. He's also got a TikTok, like he said, if you want to check that out as well. And if you liked this episode of No Tracers, hey, leave me a rating and feedback. It helps the podcast grow. It helps other people find us, especially if you're on Spotify, because they just added the ability for you to add a rating and feedback to a show, to a podcast now. So thank you, Spotify, for having that feature available for people. It actually helps a lot. So if you would be so kind as to leave a rating and feedback, that would help the show out a lot. If you want to come on the show, hit me up at no.tracers on Instagram, and I'll get you on the show. Or you can email me at contact@notracers.com, share a story, and I'll read it on the podcast. Thanks for listening to another episode. I'll talk to you guys next week with another one. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out, go explore something, and remember, leave no trace.